Hello everybody, welcome back to the apiary. It is October 24th. I'm doing some last minute adjustments for my bees, hoping to help them through the winter. I remember reading or hearing somewhere that the job of the beekeeper is to make mistakes and the job of the bees is to fix the beekeeper's mistakes. I may have even said that before, and that's what I'm doing right now. As I mentioned in my last video, I got a lot of way too many mites. So I treated them 6 times with oxalic acid, 4 days, I believe 4 or 5 days apart, and also there's apivar strips in there. So we're going to be checking on the mites. And another thing we're going to be doing, possibly, I have to kind of figure it out as I go along, even though I would like 2 brood boxes to go through the winter. Last I looked, the comb in pretty much both boxes, the comb was there, but it was just empty. There was some brood, some pollen, no nectar or honey whatsoever, maybe just a touch. And it's better to have, you know, 1 box that's packed with stuff rather than 2 boxes that are empty. It's more space for them to heat and defend, and it's just a bad recipe for their survival throughout the winter. So I may be reducing 1 or both of these to 1 box. I mixed up some 2-to-1 sugar syrup that I'll be feeding them with every day until I guess they stop taking it or whatever. I haven't been feeding them recently because I wasn't sure what I was going to do with the boxes, so I didn't want them to fill up some frames up there and some frames down there and make it harder for me to choose which frames to keep and which frames to take out if I decide to go that route. So I'll be feeding them, possibly reducing down to 1 box. Oh, and sorry for the background noise, lawnmower. My neighbor's doing some lawn mowing, but I'm sure you can hear me fine. I'll be doing a mite check, like I said. There's a bunch of videos how to do it. I'm going to be in the heat of the moment, so I might not be too detailed on showing you me doing this, but this is how you do it. You shake off a frame of nurse bees into a tote like this. You scoop out half a cup of bees, dump them into this thing with some alcohol in it, and you shake it around. It kills the bees instantly, and it shakes the mites off to the bottom. Little word of advice, just buy one of these. Don't try to make one like I did, because it's a pain in the ass and it won't work. This is overpriced. It was $18, I think, for a plastic jar with a basket in it, but it just saves you trouble. Just buy it. Alright everybody, here we go. I got the camera in a position where hopefully you can see just about everything that's going on. I don't want to mess around with the camera and the bees and everything all at the same time, so hopefully you can see everything. So again, this is my little ventilation box and feeder cover. This is empty, obviously. Oh, I need my hive tool. That's important. Right off the bat, they're pretty lethargic, or not really lethargic, but they're not really diving out. The other hive, when I took that feeder off, they just went nuts. All right. Take a look at this. Of course, all the propolis is now rock solid. Well, it's not really rock solid, but let's see, there's a beautiful frame. Well, you know, one side was beautiful. Absolutely nothing in it. Barely drawn out. Nothing in it. I'm gonna try to knock these bees off as I go. and put these in a tote that I have. Those two are empty. Those are no good. This one here, that's also empty. I'm covering the lid of the tote every time because I learned that hey, you know, bees can smell wax and everything, so they fill up the tote pretty fast. So again, nicely drawn out, not complete, but empty. In the tote that goes. 4 frames so far, totally empty. But you can see these girls are totally I don't even know if relaxed is the right word. This has some weight to it. Oh, there we go. There's some nectar. That's a nice frame, fully drawn out for the most part. We'll set that aside. There's another apivar strip. Get that out of the way for the moment. I forget how many weeks those have been in there. Gonna have to take them out eventually. Good, there's some nectar. Some more nectar, not fully drawn out there. They kind of fucked that up. But I think that was really me, and that's my fault because I didn't pre-wax these frames. They're sold as heavily waxed, but they're not waxed enough. But I can really see how the numbers of bees have gone down a lot. That's natural. You know, their numbers do dwindle as the season goes on. That one's dead empty. I did replace some of these frames. I don't know if I did a video a while ago because they built fucked up comb again because I made a mistake and didn't pre-wax them. So they built some really wonky comb and they never fixed it. So a little bit late in the game, yeah, see there's a wax one, they didn't do anything with it. There we go, out of a box of 10 frames, I'm just taking the propolis off here. Box of 10 frames, I only got 2 good ones. In the summer I saved these, this propolis I'm scraping off, but it's a little coarse now and crunchy, it's hard to save it. I'm trying to be a little expedient here. So that's one box. Put that aside. Hopefully there's some brood down here and I can do a mic check. I also intentionally did this hive first, well, partly just because I always do this one first, but also I figured this would be a more calm hive. So I can only take out 2 more frames. That's a nice comb, but it's not filled, so I'm going to set that aside. Again, nothing on there. And that's not really well drawn out, so I'm going to set that aside. That's a good frame. We got nectar, we got pollen. And I noticed I should rearrange my veil. It was touching my nose, and I have heard of people getting stung on the nose because their nose is touching the veil. Oh, this one's heavy. Nectar, nectar, and some pollen and stuff. And of course I gotta be careful when I'm doing the mite check not to kill the queen. Let's see. I'm holding this up in the sun here so I can see if there's... oh yeah, there's some brood there. So this is a good frame to do a mite check on. But I'm going to look real careful for the queen. I should have gotten marked queens or gotten a queen marking kit, but I didn't do either. I'm going to shake off some of these girls so I can see a little better. Now you should be pretty expedient with checks at this time of year, but they seem to be okay. So I'm going to do a mite check on this frame. So I'm going to place that in there, undo the cap, shake them in, place that aside, take a half cup scoop, dump them in, and there you have it. Now, I'm going to check them later. I'm just going to set that aside. Now I pissed them off. Alright, so that's a good frame. Make sure the smoker's going good. Alright, onwards. Got some weight in that one. That's nice drawn out. That's got nectar. That's moderately drawn out. It's got nectar. Drawn out nicely. It's got a little bit of nectar. Moderately drawn out, barely any. This frame, oh, that looks questionable. Well, I'm not really sure. That might be the oxalic acid. This frame is empty, and there's little white crystals on it. I think that's the oxalic acid. I sure hope it is. I hope it's not some... I'm going to set that one aside just in case. Even though it's a nice frame, otherwise. So this is good. There's one frame of brood. I'll reset all these. See, I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I'll put this one in as well. So there's that. And I should have scraped this propolis a little more. Back when it was warmer. So these frames slide easier. So that's that. Pack these in. These Apivar strips still have some time on them. And you're only supposed to do 2 per hive, per box rather. But these are a little spent. I don't know. I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but I already used them, so I might as well get the rest of my money's worth out of them. So that's that. Let's dump the rest of these girls back in here. And the smoker went, oh no, come on. Definitely got to make sure the smoker is smoking. Okay, so I'm going to set aside this one deep hive body. Okay, we got our smoker going again. I definitely got to make sure it's going for the other hive. I think they're going to fucking kill me. We'll get the propolis off this. This hive has been pretty good to me right now. They were definitely the most active in the summer. Now I go down to one box. I'm going to put the feeder on. I got this heavy syrup. Oh, and the other thing, so I put the honey supers on a while ago and they filled them up pretty nicely. And then I took them off to do the oxalic acid, and I realized I kind of screwed up because I kept feeding them even though I put the honey supers on. My thought being that it would help them build up the comb, which of course it did. But then of course they filled the honey super with sugar water and some nectar. So I wasn't going to harvest it for myself because, you know, it's half sugar. So what I think I'm going to do, yeah, that burned down quick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back later, maybe a little bit later in the season, and put that honey super on without a queen excluder or anything. And that'll be extra food for them. And I might do like a candy board or something on top of that just to help them even more, because their numbers are definitely small right now. Comparing to how they were when it was a package, well, like when I first put the package in, which is about 10,000 bees, I'd say there's maybe 15 or 20,000 in there. So, you know, that's not ideal. Of course, their numbers do dwindle, but I don't think they should have dwindled this low this early. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Just feed the hell out of them and hopefully they survive. So we got that feeder situated. Put this cover back on. The outer cover. And there you have it. There's one done. Now I'm gonna go brave the other one. See how it goes. Well, okay, I'm glad that I did this hive on camera because I was able to really think and talk to you guys a little bit. This hive, just as I thought, the first, I don't know, 15 to 30 seconds was okay. Ooh, standing right in the smoker. And after that, they just went nuts. They were swarming all over me, bouncing off my veil and crawling all over me. They were definitely pissed. So, well, you know, that's that. I did knock this down to one as well. There were a few more. I couldn't really count in the heat of the moment, but there seemed to be a few more good filled up frames of nectar. But still, I was able to take 10 frames out. Here they are. They're all piled up. Surprisingly, the bees aren't swarming all over them. You know, again, most of them, you know, some, there's like thin comb there. It's not fully brought out or built out. This one actually is one of the better ones. On this side there's some bee bread in there, but the other side just hasn't been built out completely, drawn out. So anyway, got to pick the best of the best, and that's that. So now I have a winter project of cleaning these frames up. I can scrape the propolis off and save it for myself. Wax, you know, I'll save this comb. I'll scrape off some of this and then just wax this to encourage them to bring the comb right out to the edge of the frame. And there's some other weird frames like this one. You know, I don't know what the hell went on with that. So that's that. What I will do, I think, with a frame like this, there are some good resources in there, and I don't know how well that'll keep just in my garage, you know, throughout the winter or whatever. So what I did try on a few, and it worked. I took some of these frames and I put it in like a small dog kennel, and I put it way over there. I put it in the dog kennel so an animal doesn't come and just like destroy the whole thing, like a raccoon or something. Oh man, here's, oh wow, still flying right here. Bee just stung me. They are still pissed. See, I guess that's the thing with these leather gloves, that they do, you know, they're skin basically, so they do make the bees want to sting, but of course, you know, you don't get stung because they're wearing gloves. But anyway, so I set it in the dog kennel, far enough away not to encourage robbing, and in the cage to protect from animals. And the bees, of course, they find it and they dig this shit out and bring it back into their hive. And of course some feral bees will do that as well, and hey, you know, help those bees too. But these two hives are pretty close, so I imagine they'll get the majority of it. So that way these resources aren't really wasted. The result of the mite count on this one was 9, and before that it was 30, so that's quite a reduction. What's that in percentage? It's well, you know, one third the amount. This one I have yet to do. I have it right there. We'll check on that in a second. Well, I shook that mite checker bottle, and we got 10 mites in there. So 10 there, 9 there. I'd say that's pretty much the same. So both hives have 2/3 or 1/3 the amount of mites they used to have. So it's definitely good. It's definitely way more than there should be. So I am going to do another round of oxalic acid and hopefully knock them down to, well, let's see if that formula holds. To knock it down to 3 mites, which is acceptable but barely. Hopefully these girls come through the winter, at least one of them. Seemed to be a few more bees in there. Maybe they were just more active and going crazy. I'm not quite sure. The other thing I think I'm going to do, kind of just for fun and maybe to, you know, help me out if one of these hives dies through the winter, I've got a bunch of spare frames right now with comb and stuff on it. I'm going to build myself a swarm trap. Well, I'll make another video about that, but I'm going to build a swarm trap, see if I can catch a feral swarm, and I can build another colony that way. So that about covers it. That's that. You know, didn't get any honey this year. I did get a couple bites out of some burr comb that I scraped out. One of the several times I was scraping out burr comb. So thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to hit the like button if you're enjoying these. I know a lot of people are enjoying watching my bee videos. And hit the subscribe button to keep up to date with everything what's going on. And let me tell you what, there's a whole lot going on. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, there's a reason I'm doing videos like this, and off-grid cabin videos, and scythe mowing videos, and all this other shit, and not a lot of mechanical videos. I didn't go to Cool Spring this year. You know, I haven't hardly worked on any of my engine projects. The last thing I did was like this past February. I pulled the flywheel off a little bit on my Bovard and Seafang. Didn't even take it completely off, because if that stuff needs to get liquidated or moved, you know, it's easier to move a whole engine instead of you know, part of an engine with a flywheel off and everything like that. Things are very bad in this world. It's easier to fool somebody than it is to convince them they've been fooled. We've been lied to non-stop for, well, our entire lives, but especially in these past 2 years. And we've been given conflicting information to the point where your average person doesn't even know which way is up. You know, masks work, they don't work. The vaccines are 90% safe and effective. They're all safe and effective. And then, oh wait, no, you need a booster shot after 3 months. And, oh, demonetized. I mentioned the V word. Censorship, yeah, speaking of which, yeah, that just made me think of the stupid little thing on the bottom of the Instagram pictures and Facebook pictures and YouTube videos and everything, all the, you know, helpful little facts that you didn't ask for, that these social media giants feel necessary to put on your content, or whether it's your content or what you're viewing. They're not experts, they're not health experts. You know, you're a social media site. I want to see pictures of my friends or whatever. That's it. Stay the fuck out of my life and my beliefs and my everything else. But we all know that's not how it works. They're part of the I don't know, part of this plan. Part of, you know, they're being pulled. Their strings are being pulled by the puppet masters. They're being told what to do. They're in on it, and they're trying to alter your reality by telling you what is the truth and telling you that everything else you read is a lie. And you know, why should you believe them and not your own research or your own beliefs or whatever? Australia apparently is pretty bad. They've made it illegal for people to protest, which is excellent. You know, isn't that nice of them? You know, the pandemic is so bad that it's illegal to protest against the totalitarian steps they've been taking to cure this virus. They're murdering protesters as well, people that are protesting, probably jailing them and all that, and they're building concentration camps. They're, you know, quarantine facilities. We've got those here too, and better watch out, because that's where a lot of you guys are going to be going if you're not careful. And well, it's dangerous. It's a dangerous world out there, not because of viruses or because of, you know, bears coming out of the woods to maul you, but it's because of people, if you could even call them people, that they want your life, they want your soul, they want to control you, every bit and piece of you. You are property to them. You are livestock. You're not a human. You don't deserve rights. So that's no good, to put it lightly. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Come on back for more.